before you start investing, there are probably a couple things that you need to think about before you start your investing journey. Here's a couple rules of thumb. There are higher priorities than simply investing for retirement. When we teach our biblical responsible priorities in churches, we talk about the priority number 2 is save. And when we talk about saving, we say there are 2 kinds of saving. There's short-term saving and there's long-term saving. And I ask the audience, which one is more important? And the answer is actually a trick question because they're both really important. But maybe if I rephrase the question, say, which one do you do first? More people get it right. It's you start with short before you go long. Because your need for tomorrow comes before your need for 20 years from now. So prepare for the need for tomorrow before you prepare for the need for 20 years. But don't allow yourself to be so focused on tomorrow that you forget about 20 years from now.
Yeah.
So what's higher priority than simply investing? Number 1, have a budget, know where your money's going, tell your money where to go based on your priorities, based on biblical priorities. Number 2, give regularly and consistently. Investing and savings is not in lieu of charitable giving. You don't wait until you're financially successful to do your giving. You give even while you're trying to establish yourself financially. You give faithful in the little, God says you will be faithful in the much. So give when you're still trying to get it together. Number 3, have an emergency fund. That's short-term savings. Put money aside to keep you out of credit card debt, not if, but when something breaks, something goes bad, something goes wrong. You need to call a plumber for the leaky sink or the hot water heater, the hot water tank.
Yeah. We like to say hot water heater here in PA, but it's kind of redundant.
Yeah. That hot water thing. Yeah. So when that thing breaks, you need to call a plumber. It ain't cheap, right? So have an emergency fund. You can go back and take a look at episode 27, way back in the early days, first year of our podcast. We have an episode on what you need to do with short-term, long-term savings for an emergency fund. Number 4, have a plan to get out of debt. We need you to be knocking out that high interest credit card debt, really be on a trajectory for financial success. And then number 5, get ready to start investing. So those are the things that you need to do, I would say, are important priorities before getting investing. If you follow Dave Ramsey, he would tell you, according to the baby steps, you don't really start investing long-term until you've knocked out baby step number 2, which is, so starter emergency fund is baby step 1. Baby step 2 is debt snowball, paying off all of your high interest credit card or consumer debt. And then you do step 3, which is a large emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And then it's contributing 15% of your income towards retirement savings. That's the Ramsey plan. I agree with that in theory. If you want to follow that particular advice, I think it's good. I think there's a lot of wisdom to that. I do know some people feel like I'm so far behind the 8 ball. I need to start sooner than later so compound interest can start working for me. So I want to be able to do a little bit of both, which is why the way I phrase it is have a plan to get out of debt, not be entirely debt-free in and of itself. I would, however, urge that you would not want to be focusing any of your money on long-term savings when you have 20+% interest credit cards. You knock those suckers out because that's compound interest working against you. You want to get compound interest working for you, but you can't really do that until you take care of the compound interest that's working against you. Make sense?
I think that's great. Okay, so we're working chronologically here. I've discovered that I'm ready to start saving for the long term. What's the next thing I need to consider here?
Just open the Roth IRA, right?
Go for it.
Yeah. Well, the first thing is actually before you start thinking about Roth IRA is, are you eligible for an employer-sponsored retirement plan, a 401k, a 403b, a TSA, a TSP, like thrift savings plan? These are great ways of saving for retirement and enabling you to get an employer match. Especially if your employer will match a contribution, that it's free money. You should take advantage of that. So before you start funding your own Roth IRA, I would have you fund your work sponsor plan just enough to get every dollar your employer will give. At the Life Financial Group, I know I've said this before, when we set up our 401k, if you contribute 3%, we'll match dollar for dollar up to 3% of your income. And then for the next 2%, it's 50 cents on the dollar. So if you put in 5% of your income, the Life Financial Group will match 4%. So if you worked for me, according to this advice, you would put 5% of your income in the 401k, and then everything else, you would either choose to put it into your own Roth IRA, which would be like step 3 here, open and fund your Roth IRA, or you could simply keep it all and just fund your 401k, provided they offer you a Roth option. 2026, you're allowed to contribute $24,500 to a 401k. The ability to contribute, the amount that you can contribute to a 401k is significantly higher than what you can contribute to a Roth IRA, and I'll give you those limits in a minute. And if you're older than 50 years old or older, you can actually contribute over $30,000. There's an extra catch-up provision in the 401k. So the 401k is a really good vehicle if you have the capacity to save more. So step 1 here with doing the retirement savings, employer plan, get the match. If the employer doesn't do a match, I would have the very next thing you do is open the Roth IRA. So let's walk through open the Roth IRA.